Are you ready to take your business to the top? Well, strap in and hold on tight. You're listening to the Top of the Wall podcast from Redwall Marketing. Business and marketing strategies to lift you above the competition and over the wall of mediocrity. Now, here's your host, J.R. Griggs.
Hey, welcome to the Top of the Wall podcast. It's JR here with Redwall Marketing. And today I'm going to do kind of like an essay podcast, if you will. I'm getting over some kind of cold that I've had for the last 3 days, so my voice has been really froggy, and I didn't want to record anything. I've been avoiding the phone or any unnecessary talking in general. But I still wanted to make sure I get a podcast out this week for you guys. So I thought, there's a topic that's kind of been on my mind a little bit, and so I thought I would just kind of share that with you and just talk a little bit here, maybe 15 minutes about just something I see out in the market and with clients and so many areas of really work and employees, business owners, doesn't matter, and just hopefully this benefits you a little bit, and you can take some lessons here for your business. There's something that a few podcasts back I talked about doing business right, and how sometimes that's really all it takes is just if you do business right, you're gonna you're gonna bring in customers, you're gonna bring in business, you're gonna bring in referrals, and sometimes that's all it takes is just doing business right. Sometimes you don't even have to be some expert marketer with your business. If you're just doing the right things, people will come, and that is true in some cases. On the other side of that, I'm really, really surprised at how many businesses just don't even try or don't even doesn't even cross their mind in some ways. I talk to a lot of people about their life and their jobs. I family, friends, whatever, or just people struggling that I'll hear them talk about how bad their job is and how they can't get a promotion. And there's a lot of political stuff going on right now with a lot of that, cities forcing $15 minimum wages and, the whole minimum wage debate. And, there's unfortunately a pretty good segment out there that believes you should be paid based on really not much more than existing and showing up. I mean, there's a good segment of the market that believes that your worth should be tied, or your payment should be tied to your lifestyle or what it takes to live, and not what you produce or what you provide to the market, not what your worth is to those who need whatever it is you're offering. It's growing and growing because and to me it's ludicrous. It doesn't make any sense. I believe that you're paid what you're worth. If you're flipping burgers, you need to be able to produce more burgers than your hourly wage in order for there to be profit. And it's not just, hey, you sell a burger for $1, you make $10 an hour, therefore you need to sell 10, you need to be able to make 10 burgers an hour. That's simply not how it works. Obviously as business owners, there's cost involved in each burger, and so there's only a certain amount of profit. So if it was 30 cents profit in every burger, that clearly changes how many burgers you have to be able to produce in that hour. So to me, you're paid what you're worth, and forcing higher payment or forcing business owners to pay simply because this person made decisions and now they're trying to support a family working at McDonald's, that's just not how economics work. You can't change profits and prices and costs of food and demand and the worth of a 89-cent cheeseburger from McDonald's simply because somebody made a bad decision and is now trying to raise a family on this income. And I understand bad things happen. I'm not going to get into all that. The bottom line is that a McDonald's job was meant for high school kids. It was meant for part-timers. It was meant for people who are okay with, working at McDonald's while they learned a trade and became something better, and built up to do something else. And I hear this excuse so many times that, like, well, I can't afford to go to college. Well, you know what? You don't need college in this day and age. College is a waste, in my opinion, for many people. I know too many people with degrees that they are not using at all because it was a wasted degree. Whereas somebody like myself, learned just about everything I know in business from experimenting, reading books, library books, borrowing books, whatever it was, studying those things on my own. And this is where I'll, get it. I want to transition this into business owners because I'm talking about employees right now, but I'm noticing the same trend in business owners as well. So there's employees out there who believe that because they exist, they deserve to be paid whatever amount they need to support the condition they're in, to support their lifestyle. They don't consider, well, a kid out of high school can do my job with 10 hours of training. So therefore, I'm not worth $15 an hour to this company when they can get some part-timers out of high school to do this job for $8 an hour. It only takes them 10 hours to train, and it's typically a high turnover rate, and the kids are going to move on to something else. We've switched to where people get jobs and just think it should automatically be enough to survive. They don't see anything else. They show up and they do what it is that they feel like they're supposed to do. So we've got and this isn't every job, by the way. This isn't just this lower wage, minimum wage type position. This also applies to higher wage jobs where people show up and they do what they're supposed to do and they expect to be highly rewarded for this. This should equal promotions and bonuses because I showed up and I did what I'm supposed to do. I did the daily tasks assigned to me. I don't get into trouble. I don't do this. I don't do that. So therefore, because I'm an average employee and I'm simply doing what I'm supposed to do, I should get a higher wage, or I should get a bonus, or this should happen. There's an entitlement the world is owed to me because I showed up. And it's very rare that I talk to anybody in those circumstances. Somebody stuck in a bad minimum wage job. Well, what are you studying right now? What are you learning? Well, nothing. I come here and I work. What is there to study or learn? Your next trade. What are you learning that you could produce, or provide a better value to the world with, so that you can get a better job? And typically the answer is nothing. The same for middle class, whatever job. How many people are actually studying to be better, studying their trade, studying the company they work with to see what are the goals of the company and how can I do something to better that, to help them achieve that. It's so rare. The statistics of people who actually read a book after college, the last time I checked, it was like 70% will never pick up a book, or 80%, something like that, will never pick up another book again after high school or college. That's sad because that tells me that we're a nation that finishes school and we just think, okay, I'm done learning now. But life is learning. It's always learning. It's always bettering yourself and sharpening up the tools you have and just becoming more educated, a better value to society, so that society can pay you more money for that value you're providing. And so lots of employees go to work every day and do what they're supposed to do and feel like they're entitled to the bonuses and everything else that comes with it. And it's frustrating for a lot of business owners. I talk to these business owners. It's frustrating for them to have to deal with that, to have to find out who's the least mediocre. It's not who's the best anymore. It's not who's working harder. It's just, gosh, I got to find the least mediocre. Who's at least a little bit above mediocre in this company, so that I can put them in a better position. And that's this entitlement mindset. Well, the same applies in a lot of business owners I meet, and they don't even realize it. So there's a lot of business owners that start a business and think that because they put up a sign or got some free cards off Vistaprint, the customer should come flooding in because they deserve it. They started a business. Hey, I'm here. I exist. I put up a sign. I have a storefront. I have products. Therefore, people should just magically show up. And I should be able to charge whatever I want, and I should make a ton of money. And I don't have to keep my place clean. I don't have to better myself. I don't have to be reading and studying on how to be a better business owner, how to be a better boss, how to be a better customer service oriented business. They go in and they're okay with being the mediocre. I open up the doors in the morning. I close the doors at night. We cook some food. People come in and they're supposed to buy it. But are you being any different than the rest of the market? I mean, if you're opening a pizza shop, is your pizza shop any different than the pizza shop down the street? What reason, do you have? A sign and some free business cards isn't going to cut it. That's showing up. That's doing the same thing you don't want your employees to do, which is show up with the basic needs to get through the day, to clock out when you need to and clock in when you need to, and collect a paycheck. Well, you're hoping to do the same thing. You've got some risk involved, granted. You're taking risks and you started your company. But what are you doing to increase the worth of your business to society, to increase the purpose, to increase the reason why you should earn more money in your business? If you are no different than the business down the street, you're simply taking a share. You're one of the mediocre employees taking a share of the employee costs of the company, in this case, the money that's able or available for generic pizza. That's what you're there. That's what you're doing. What are you doing different? And too many times I see businesses that just exist. That's it. They just exist. They're there. They operate. And in many cases they're doing well. and there's plenty of employees out there. There's plenty of 9-to-5 workers who are doing well in their jobs. They could lose their job any day. They're not really trying to get any better. They're just doing what they're supposed to do each day and hoping they get some kind of reward or promotion. But that's all they do every day. And there's plenty of businesses that open up the doors every day and they're doing well. They're making a decent amount, but they're not looking to be much better. They're looking to just survive. And unfortunately, what happens is the same way employees change, the same way companies have to make shifts and sometimes let go of an employee because, well, they're just mediocre. Right? Not like we're losing our star player here or somebody who has a tremendous future. The same thing happens to businesses, except that it's not a boss making the decision. It's the economy. It's the market making that decision. When things tighten up, the mediocre pizza place is one of the places that people stop spending money. That's one of the places where people are going to say, hey, we've got to be more selective with our money. We don't go out as often. Well, now there's less availability of that, mediocre pizza fund, if you will. It's not there. So less of that to go around, you go out of business. And you're still opening up every day thinking, hey, I've clocked in today. I've showed up. I should get paid. And I should get paid a fair wage. This pizza should be $20 because that's what I need to sell it for to survive. And so you sell these things at this high prices, and you're not really much different than the guy that shows up to flip some burgers and thinks they deserve $15 an hour because that's what it costs to live. You're not doing anything any different than that. You're showing up and you're opening the doors, and your prices are set by what you need, not by what your customer needs, not by what the market demands, or not by what you offer, not the value you've created. And so I see this more and more, that there's business owners that are in the same spot. They're in the same mentality as these employees that everybody looks down upon. And it's almost like honestly, it's a little bit sad to me because I'm watching this country grow up with an entitlement, and it's not just employees. There's many times it's business owners too. And you know what? On the flip side of this, there's a lot of business owners who don't even value the employees that they have that are going above and beyond, that are doing more, that are reaching out and trying to be something better. There's a lot of those cases out there where the business owner feels entitled. It's the employee's job to be here and be excellent, and so therefore I don't have to reward it. It's almost like they have an entitlement from their employees too, and so they disrespect their employees. They don't reward them. They don't compliment them. So there's the other side of that too, where I see a lot of business owners that are just disrespectful to their employees and don't realize that is the backbone of your company. That is what you need to survive, is those employees. So in all, it's a huge. It's not just, and I guess where I'm heading with this is it's not just as much as I disagree. For now, anyway. I mean, let's see what happens with these cities that raise minimum wage to $15. I'm not an economist. I can only comment on what I've learned and what I've seen. Let's see what happens. Maybe it's great. Maybe they're right, and it creates this utopia of high wage, McDonald's workers. I don't know. We'll see. Personally, I think machines are going to replace a lot of those low wage jobs, and we're going to end up with a big pool of people unemployed with nothing more to offer than those low wage jobs. And I do think that some will branch out of that. But let's just see what happens. I can't change what's going to happen. I can only be aware of what's going to happen and try to offer my opinion and really try to help or prepare myself and my family for it. So that's all I can do. But I see a huge mess out there today of people graduating without really very good reading levels or any desire to read a book again or any understanding of how the economy works or how they are supposed to provide value. I see a lot of that. But there are some promising people coming out that are creating great things today too. So, maybe I'm just more aware of it today. I don't know. And the same with business owners. I see a lot of business owners that think that because they took out a loan and went in debt and they were able to open a storefront and get some business cards that the world owes them something. That business needs to just show up. And that's just not going to happen. It doesn't work that way. So whether you're an employee or a business owner, understand that every dollar in your pocket is a direct correlation to how much value you're providing the world. That's it. It's that simple. And so if you can increase your value, if you can increase your mind's ability to provide value, your capability to provide value, you have a very powerful tool in your tool bag. Okay, very, very powerful. I want to read something. I can find it here real quick that I just shared recently from Stephen Covey in his book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Here it is. Here it says, as you become involved in continuing education, you increase your knowledge base and you increase your options. Your economic security does not lie in your job or your business. I added that part. It lies in your own power to produce, to think, to learn, to create, to adapt. That's a true financial dependence. It's not having wealth. It's having the power to produce wealth. It's intrinsic. That right there is such an enormous lesson. Enormous. It's not going to be your job, and it's not going to be your business, and it's not going to be that you got a loan and you opened up a pizza place. It's how much are you learning and continuing to learn so that you can provide more value? Because if you can learn to make a better pizza or to run a better business or to offer something different, you will stand out above the rest. If you can learn to be better than just somebody who's flipping burgers, if you can understand that you're flipping burgers so that you can pay your bills while you learn, we got to stop the 40-hour average TV watching that goes on in this country and wake up, start getting educated, start growing, start learning, and apply that to our lives, not just in business, in family, in every aspect of our lives. And I hope that I'm just maybe paying attention in the wrong areas and that this isn't just some massive growing trend. But I hope that people are taking that serious and understanding that it's up to them. It's up to you. It's not up to the school. It's not up to the college. It's not up to your parents. It's not up to the customers to show up. And it's not up to your employer to just pay you. It's up to you to continue to learn, to provide more value. I think over and over again about the people I've talked to, again, family, friends, doesn't matter, strangers, who don't like the hand they were dealt, so to say, because that's what they'll tell you it was, the hand they were dealt. But then if you start to ask, what was the last book you read? You might get a blank stare. Or maybe it was a Stephen King book. You're very rarely going to talk to somebody who was dealt the bad hand, who's going to tell you about this great marketing book they read, or this great book about, being a better father or mother, or being a better employee, or being a better boss, or learning how to communicate better to customers or people, or you're not going to hear that in most cases when you talk to somebody who was dealt the bad hand. And that's just, it's sad to me. So employees, business owners, it doesn't matter. You've got to be continuing to educate yourself, continuing to grow. If you're an employee, you need to be learning your trade. What do you do? Read books about it. If you're a salesman, when I was selling cars, I didn't read any sales books. I read one book, and it actually caused me to get out of selling cars when I was selling cars. It was called Who Moved My Cheese? And where the owner that gave it to me and said, here, read this, or the GM at the time, I think he was expecting that I would use it as motivation to go find more customers, and to me, it made me realize I was in the wrong business. I needed to get out. So in that case, but none of the salesmen I knew there were actively studying sales books or some of the great salesmen that came before them. It was a joke to be educated. Anytime we went to a seminar or something where the company was trying to, teach us something, it was like, ugh, nobody wants to go to this. Who cares? It's a general attitude. And a lot of business owners are the same way. I've talked to a lot of business owners that do not read, and they tell me they don't have time for it. Make time. That's like, it's like saying you don't have time to learn how to drive because you're too busy taking the bus every day. The bus takes 2 hours back and forth to get a half hour away because of all the stops it makes, and so because of that, you don't have any time to study for your driver's test. It's backwards. It's backwards. Anyway, 22 minutes almost here, and I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense. Maybe it's a sickness. Who knows? It's kind of a rant podcast about just becoming a better you, period. Maybe that'll be the title. Become a better you. You're not entitled to anything. As an employee, as a parent, as a son or daughter, as a brother, as a family member, as a friend, you're not entitled to anything in this world. As a business owner, it doesn't matter. You're not entitled to anything. Nothing. Become a better you at whatever it is you're doing, and then apply it to your life. That's it. Go learn to be a better business owner, to be a better boss, to be a better customer service-based business. Learn to be a better employee. Learn to be a better salesman. Learn to be a better whatever. Parent. Whatever. And apply it. Continue to learn. It doesn't stop. Turn off the TV. Turn off the TV. It doesn't need to be on. Leave it off. Read. Learn. Educate. Invest in yourself. As it doesn't matter. Again, employee or business owner, it doesn't matter. Anyway, that's my little 22-minute-ish rant as I was just laying in bed the last couple of days trying to work and thinking and going through different books. I just finished the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and then The Power of No by James Altucher. Great blog, by the way, Altucher Confidential. His blog's great stuff. One of the things I read on a weekly basis is his and Seth Godin. But get out there and follow some people in your industry, people that you respect. Start learning. But this was kind of on my mind this week as I thought about some of the clients I've worked with recently, and just some of the stories I've heard from other people or other business owners I've seen that are just really not much different than employees that they're upset about for not getting it. It's time for you to get it. Get out there, invest in yourself, and become a better whatever it is you're doing. See you next week. Hopefully I'm much better and ready to go again.
Thanks for listening to the Top of the Wall podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the great episodes coming up for you. For more resources and tools to take your business to the top, visit redwallmarketing.com.